This series is intended for mature audiences. We insist you heed the following content warnings before viewing. Horror themes, language, adult themes, and strong violence and gore, including gun violence. Welcome to the Weird West. Let us tell y'all a story.
Our scene opens at a crossroads. A four-way dirt road, four-way railroad track, all intersecting here at a small building. The storm clouds are rolling in and the rain is starting to fall harder and faster. Gideon, you open the door to the small railroad station building with Archie right behind you. Jesse and Gabriel stand in front of Maisie and Katrina to shield them as the doors open. As it opens, for now, Gideon, you see two people standing before you. And Gideon and Archie, you see we'll wait for descriptions for a moment. But you don't see Maisie and Katrina standing behind them. These two men have their guns drawn and are standing there to greet you. And Jesse, you see one man with another kind of peeking from behind him. Let's go ahead and Gideon and Archie, if you would like to describe yourself to the others, what do they see as you're walking or opening up this door?
Well, standing right up front, I reckon you probably noticed Gideon's first pretty dirty. Not really too well cleaned or prim and proper. Got greasy, dark hair, slicked back, thick mustache, wearing a pretty beat up duster. Looks like it's survived a few explosions at this point. Not looking too good, but his gun arm's holding pretty steady.
I will note he's also like covered in
that's right,
dried blood.
Yeah, I'm basically
like head to toe.
Stained dark red at this point.
Archie.
Yes, just over his shoulder, you see a sort of a youngish, clean-shaven man with a pair of spectacles with slightly cracked lens. He looks like he would normally be quite neat and tidy, but he is a little bit grubby. Worse for wear, his hair is a little dishevelled. He also has a splatter of blood across his face. And he has a bow tie that's now on askew, and his suit was once sort of like a light, sort of browny beige, perhaps, but now it's sort of muddy and sort of quite mud marked, if you like, and scorched.
Right, and as you open up this door, you see the two men inside of the room. Both of them have drawn their weapons. One of them is aiming a rifle just at the door. He has blonde hair. It's kind of caked in dirt where the sweat lines would be at his hairline. It's pulled back into like a colonial style ponytail. And you see he wears simple clothes, but he has these leather straps wrapped around his limbs, like his arms and his legs, especially his forearms. His hat looks old and it sits atop his head, and he's just aiming the gun at you with a sturdy hand, but he seems to be not set on just blasting you to death. Like he's cautious. You see him looking in your eyes. And beside him is another man. Jesse, will you describe yourself, please?
It's kind of hard to describe him as a man. You would probably think he was a teenager from the looks of him. He is just barely 18 years old. He does have a 6-shooter pulled and pointed at you. The best way to describe him is if you put Shaggy from Scooby-Doo into like the Old West, that's exactly what you would look like. He's thin, he's lean, he looks like a teenager, and at this point he has some leather strapping around him, but it's not as much as the previous character, and that's what you'd see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have Gideon and Archie make a notice roll for me.
All right. D4. Now, with the wild die, we take the higher of the two, right?
Correct.
And that's a 5.
I also got a 5.
Okay, so stepping in, there's this silence as both groups are just kind of looking each other over for a moment. And Gideon, you do not have a gun pulled, correct?
No, hand on hit.
Okay. Looking down, you see a dead man laying on the ground in this room. He definitely looks like he died maybe over a week ago. There's definitely a stench in here. This didn't just happen or anything. But you look down and you notice this dead man, and you see a little bit of movement behind Jesse and Gabriel. And so you kind of, cock your head a little bit to peek between them. And you see some exhausted and sickly looking women, kind of leaning back against the wall. One of them has slid down and is just sitting behind them. Amber, if you want to describe yourself.
Do you want me to describe Maisie too?
Sure, yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, great. I will. So, Maisie she has gotten the worst of it all. You could kind of tell usually that she would be bright and cheerful with like a spark of electricity and vivaciousness behind her, but it's with the events of everything, it's all gone to naught. She's got long, at this point, stringy brown hair, and her usually rosy cheeks have like a tinge of green underneath it, and it's just not good. I mean, it's just not good out for her. But she's wearing, clothes that look right for a good time, not necessarily a long time, if you catch my drift. But she's but you can also tell that she would ordinarily wear it like a badge of pride. But for Katrina, she's the one standing up straight. Well, as straight as she possibly could, kind of angling her body over Maisie as if protecting her with the last vestige that she can. Her blonde hair is kind of pulled back and just the worst kind of messy bun in the back, just trying to do whatever it takes to get whatever grime and dirt and whatever going through her system out of her face. She's got in one hand a worn, tattered hat, cowboy hat. She looks at this point much older than her 32 years of age, but she's she's been through hell the past couple weeks, and oof. She's holding on as best she can, specifically for Maisie. You can kind of tell that this girl means a lot to her.
Right, and at these sites, Jesse and Gabriel both aiming their guns at the two men that just opened this door. You see Gideon hand on hip, and Archie has a gun pulled, correct?
I can't remember. I have a gun.
I think that was the plan.
So you're holding a
Yes.
gun in your hands, but it's probably not aimed into the room just yet.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So seeing this, what would you like to do?
All right, now. Look, I've had a day. I'd much rather not turn it into a full spectacle. Anyone got any liquor?
I take my gun and I pull it up and I tell Gideon to drop his rifle and I say, I don't partake much of the stuff, but we might have some around here. And I put my gun back into the holster.
Yeah, Gabriel pulls up his rifle, nods, kind of puts it on his shoulder, and then you see he's got quite a few like different satchels secured to himself, and you see one of them on his thigh. He kind of opens it up and he pulls out a bottle and tosses it to you.
Thank you kindly. And, take a nice, long but respectful swig, seeing as it isn't mine. Turn to Archie. I reckon you can put the gun away. Probably best to avoid a fight.
Okay, he's just sort of holding it up, sort of not really of any use. It's like, oh, okay, right. Waving it across through the room without thinking.
We're all ducking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He does that a lot.
Okay.
Tell you what.
It's not a threat. Well, I mean, you know, beyond the accidental discharge. He's not doing it on purpose. What's going on in here? What, you all look like you've seen almost as bad a day as I have.
Well, we've had quite a journey. I won't tiptoe around that. We were heading this way, and most of our party, well, they didn't make it. The only reason I've made it and these two girls have made it so far is because of this, I guess you could call him a guardian angel named Gabriel here.
He seems really awkward about that praise, and you, like, the guilt is just on his face. You can see it, and it's kind of conflicting. You see Jesse saying, "Oh, he saved us," but he just looks so guilty, and he just kind of leans against the wall, like shoulder on the wall, and he seems to be not used to being around so many people. You see him kind of stepping away. I'm gonna have the four of you make a notice roll.
All right.
Does that include me?
Yes.
Oh.
That's a 4.
Wow, I completely forgot how to play this game.
Ooh.
You'll roll whatever your notice die is and your d6 and take whichever one's higher. And if you get the highest, it explodes and you keep going.
Go ahead.
Oh, I got an 8. My D6 exploded.
Nice.
Jesse got an 11. His D4 exploded.
Oof.
Got a 10.
Okay. All right. I will say Jesse will hear this first. and his head kind of snaps to look out the window. But before we resolve that, we're going to cut over to Jonah and Willie. You pull off to the side to head towards the building to take cover from the quickly approaching storm. Parts of Jonah's arms are a little scratched from the crows, and there are multiple scratches on his cheeks and his forehead, scabbed from the morning. Willie has a couple dirty tear stains down her face. And as you're pulling off the side here and you're beginning to approach this building, you see Jonah's shoulders just kind of slump. He hasn't slept. He didn't sleep all night last night. And you know the kind of exhaustion that can and put on someone, but this seems worse. This seems like something more. And as he's kind of slumped over, you watch his eyes struggling to stay open, and he's fighting to stay conscious. There's something about him. He just seems drained. Probably from whatever events took place earlier. He just seems emotionally, physically, and mentally drained, fighting to stay awake. He does kind of pushes the reins over to you, and he just fights to stay conscious, but you see him just eyes closing, head nodding. Make a notice roll for me.
Out of 5.
Okay. As you get closer to this building, you see people inside. You're not sure how many, at least 4. You see 4 or 5 figures just standing. They don't seem to be, trying to hide or anything. And as you're pulling up the wagon, you see on the other side of it, there's a little stable type area where you could definitely give the horse some rest and some cover from the rain as well, as it's starting to come down even harder. And as you're pulling around to do so, Jonah's head just kind of slumps over onto your shoulder, and he's just asleep. He's so tired. Jesse, you have watched a wagon pull over to the side.
So I noticing that, I turned to everybody and said, "This party just got a whole lot bigger." And I nod towards the window and say, "We've got some more company coming up."
All right, well, seeing that, somewhat important question. Has a train come through here yet?
Not since we've gotten here.
All right, then this might not be good company. Archie, I think it might be prudent of us to cover the door.
Hey, it's gone out again.
Long story short, something bad's heading into town, and it's heading in on that train. We had to kill a lot of bad men on our way here. I have a bad feeling that perhaps there's more headed this way.
Just bad men?
As of right now.
Good to know.
Determined.
All right, so are we just standing, like holding ground inside the building, waiting for the visitors to come inside?
I think I'm gonna move to the side of the door, so that when it opens, I'll be behind the doorway.
I will be, I'm going to go to the window where I saw them pull up and just face the door, but have the window on my side so I can look out it and see as they approach.
Right.
And Archie will sort of move sort of opposite from where Gideon is and sort of probably sort of half crouch behind a table or a chair or something, thinking, just get some sort of cover. That's what happened before. So.
Right.
How's Maisie looking as time has passed?
You're definitely looking a little worse for wear than she is.
Really?
She is, while she can't stand, her leg, she cannot stand. But sitting there, she's got a little more color in her face than you do. Not much, but and you know Maisie, so you don't know how much she's just faking that she feels better than you do. So it's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge how she's really doing.
Right.
If I were to look at Gabriel, does he, by the look on his face, does he know how they're looking at this point?
Make a notice roll.
Four.
He hardly seems any different than he did before.
Okay.
And you know that from his experience, time doesn't matter.
Okay.
Willie. Jonah is currently asleep on your shoulder. You've pulled up. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm gonna gently kind of lower him down as I start to get up, and I'm gonna say, Jonah, are you awake?
You hear him, like, almost whining, kind of like, yeah, I'm up, Luther. God damn it.
It's not Luther. It's Willie. Luther's gone. Remember?
And then you see him, kind of his eyebrows pull together, and he just like says, Luther, and he just kind of rolls to face like the seat.
Jonah, there's some company here. I don't know if it's friend or foe. I'm gonna go find out. Do you want to lie here while I do that?
You see him like trying to pry his eyes open, and he's reaching for his weapons, and he's like, no, you can't go by yourself. But he's not getting up.
It's all right. You're in no place to go anywhere. I'm gonna see if they can help us.
You see him
I'll be right back.
Yeah, he kind of gives up, and you see his arm fall limp, like hanging off the seat.
I'm just gonna kind of also just gently, just kind of like pet him on the head. I used to do that to my daddy, and then I'm gonna give the horses some water.
Okay.
And then I'm going to walk around to the front of the building. I saw them through the window, right?
Yeah, you saw people standing in there.
Okay. I'm going to say that as I was going by, I tried to do like a friendly wave.
Okay. Yeah, so Jesse, you see a wave as you make eye contact with this woman as she's walking around towards the door.
I turn to the rest of the people in the room here, and I say, seems like it's friend, not foe.
We'll find out in a second.
Willie, do you open the door?
I open the door, and Willie is not so much muddy as if you were to whack her with a paddle, dust would come out. So she's clearly been traveling, and her hair has not seen the right side of a brush the entire time. So she's messy, but she's got kind of a young, friendly look. Like she doesn't, she looks unassuming. So she's gonna kind of knock on the door.
Seeming that I'm gonna put my gun away, and I'll slowly walk to the door and open it.
So taking in this scene, she did not expect to see this many people. I said, well, you folks look a lot like me and my friend. He's real tired and cut up. I was wondering if we could come in and take a little bit of a respite.
I look around and I want to see. I want to know what everybody else is thinking. Just looking at them, Jesse's obliged to let her in at this point.
Yeah, Archie's sort of a little bit torn because he trusts Gideon's caution, but it seems to be a lady in distress, and the gentleman in him is standing up and putting his gun away and pulling a chair out or something like that.
I'll come out from behind the door and put my gun back in the holster.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
That was kind of the point.
Fair enough. Could somebody help me with my friend? He's sleeping in the carriage, and I don't think I can walk him in by myself.
I'll immediately I'll say I'll go and get him. I'll go help him out.
Okay.
I kind of look at his skin and bones, and I'll look around and say, anybody else?
I'll go help him. I'll take care of it.
If I were feeling a little bit more like myself, I would.
Come on, youngin', let's go get him.
Okay.
All right, so Gideon and Jesse head out. I'm gonna have both of you make a notice roll for me.
All right. Ooh. Ooh.
I had a 6.
I exploded twice. That's a 16.
All right. So heading out, the rain is starting to come down. It is definitely, there's no longer like, oh, it's raining. It is raining, and you can't see more than, probably, I'd say maybe 60, 80 feet away. It's coming down. And as you're walking over to this wagon, you hear the rain falling on the little tin roof that this stable has going on, and going past the wagon, Jesse, you're more concerned with the friend. You walk up, you see a man definitely beat to hell, laying at the front. But Gideon, you take a little peek into the back, and there's a dead body in there.
Ah, shit. Jesse, put a gun out. I'll say,
So-
I don't know your name. I'm sorry.
Kid.
Kid, body, gun.
Okay. And I pull out my gun.
And
Yeah,
I just wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah,
I forgot
No
that the
worries.
body was there. So I immediately am just like, oh my gosh, that's our friend. He was killed. We just want to take his body back to be buried.
And Gideon, I will say with that roll as well, having drawn your gun, you are kind of peeking, looking for more detail. Looking at this body, you see the same scratches and cuts on this man as you do the one sleeping.
All right. Sorry, I'm a bit hesitant today. It's been a day. Let's get
It's
this
all
man
right.
out of the rain.
Okay. And I put my gun back in, and I sort of
Thank you.
help this tired person into the.
And I'll just kind of tell Jonah, these men are going to help you in, and I'm going to take a look at those cuts.
Does it seem like the young one can handle Jonah? This sleepy, exhausted individual?
Yeah. It seems like
And
it.
I'm gonna grab that body out the back of the wagon.
Okay. Carrying them both inside?
Yeah.
Bringing them both in? Yeah, Jonah can be, like, partially awake, like, arm over the shoulder. With Jesse and Willie, you could both get Jonah into the building. He's fighting so hard to try to wake up. There's no battery life left. He's just done. Yeah. Finley. The horse is just huff with exhaustion. And as the adrenaline is finally fading away, your hands are shaking, and you notice you are just squeezing the reins as hard as you can. You loosen your grip as you become aware of your white knuckles. You glance over at the body that's slumped over the horse that you're leading beside you. But you can't bring yourself to look for too long. Being the furthest one from this structure, you were able to see a wagon approach. Park, however you say with wagons. And you saw, some people going inside, and then the rain started coming down way too hard. You lost sight of the structure, but you know where you're going. You know where you're heading. You just gotta get there. Maybe it's a rest stop of some sort, you don't know, but the wound on your side stings, and you can feel the blood soaked into your clothes. You forgot about it until the adrenaline wore off, and now you can feel it again, and with every step of the horse, it stings and twinges, and you're afraid to look to see how bad it is. So you keep going. You glance over at the body again before you look forward, and you hear your breath shake, but you're almost there. You were almost there. Make a vigor roll for me.
Okay. 3.
All right. I will say Gideon. You've carried this body inside. What are you doing with it?
I'm gonna set it by the other one.
Okay.
And I have some questions to ask, but I suspect that I'm noticing something.
Yeah, you set the body down and you stand up to look at everyone, and your view just so happens to see out the window. It's raining hard, so you don't see them until they're right by the building. 2 horses, 1 rider though, it looks like. And as they're riding up, you just see them fall unconscious off their horse and slam into the mud.
Oof. All right, looks like we're getting a little more crowded. I'm gonna run out and guide the horses a little closer to the house and drag this poor fella out the mud and bring them in.
Yeah, so looking at the horses, there is another body. One body is laying over the second horse. Bloodied and bruised and dead.
Second verse, same as the first. Bring that one in as well.
All right, you put away the horses, carrying the dead, carrying the unconscious, and you hear the thunder and the lightning outside. The windows kind of shake a little bit with each boom, and you're all here.
Willie's gonna help Jonah lay down. She's going to put her shawl under his head so he can rest.
Yeah, he does so thankfully. He curls up and you just see him just pass out.
Seems like a busy night. This building usually so occupied.
I don't really know. We just arrived here probably about 15, 20 minutes before you did.
I have a feeling it's not a coincidence. Seems like we're all going through something similar.
I'm sorry, I'm sure that this might be a little near and dear at the moment, but what did this to y'all?
Well, I want to tell you the truth, but I don't know if you're going to believe me. We've had a couple of really strange run-ins the last couple days. This man, they were attacked by crows, both of them. But then there was like, at first I couldn't see what was happening. I couldn't see anything. They were just reacting and flinching and bleeding. And then all of a sudden, they both started talking to somebody I didn't see, making some sort of a gamble. And Jonah here, he won and was able to get free. But Matthias, that's the other man. He was dragged almost. I mean, I don't really ever say I believe in magic, but it looked like magic. He was pulled right under the ground and he suffocated. And then I saw the being. It was like a creepy, skinny guy, and he had some sort of a magic tether on him. And we were able to kill him, or I don't know, he's gone. He seemed dead, but it was the strangest thing I've ever seen. And Jonah said that he had some sort of an obligation to him, and the man had come to take his soul.
GM, so Alex is trying to decide if in his numerous travels Gideon would have seen anything to lead him to accept this story as potentially believable.
I will say, make a common knowledge roll.
Alright. I don't have anything for that.
So that'll be just a D4 then.
D4, alright. Three explodes so far.
Ooh.
Damn.
So that's 23.
Oh.
All right. You've come across many characters in your travels, especially not always working in the same line of work. You've definitely heard of these types of things before. Absolutely.
All right.
Archie will, as soon as the story is begun to tell, he will pull out a little notebook and pencil and start noting down everything that you're saying about this, your encounter with these birds and this creature. Is there anything that Archie's come across that it would ring a bell?
I would say with Archie, he's definitely heard of this kind of stuff, but he's never seen any of it.
Okay, yeah.
Also at this, Finley, you are kind of coming to, and your hand moves up to the wound on your side. You're coming to, laying on the floor, surrounded by people.
I don't mean to interrupt, but if someone could help me, please.
I'll go over.
I can. Yeah, I was about to say I'm gonna go over and check her wounds out.
I've got some healing salves and things that might help.
Oh, that's good. Because I only know really some basic first aid, really. So if you want to take a look Go right ahead.
Sure.
All right. So Willie, you walk up and just looking at this wound from like the outside of their clothing, the clothing is ripped. Blood soaked everywhere. This was some sort of puncture wound that almost seems I'm not sure how to explain this. It doesn't look like a weapon. It doesn't look like it was made by any sort of weapon, but it is punctured from the back to the front.
Do they look like the kind of ill that I saw in Luther?
No.
All right. So I just want to ask them, what did this to you? Or whom?
It's hard to explain. I fell is the best way to explain that right now.
All right. Well, without more information, it can be a little bit hard to treat, but I'll do my best.
My compatriots and I, we going through a canyon, and there was an earthquake, but it wasn't really an earthquake. But I fell down and something it ruptured through me. I believe it was a rock of some kind. But well, I fell on something. Is the best way to explain that.
All right. I feel their head to see if there's a fever.
Make a medicine roll for me. Or is it medicine in here? Or healing?
Healing, I think.
Yeah.
I got 3.
Okay. They're still so damp from the rain that it's hard to get any sort of accurate feel for a fever or anything.
All right. So I'm gonna use that same special healing salve that I used on Jonah when he got stabbed, and so I apply it, and it's a bright color that you don't normally see, and it has sort of like a bubbling up effect when I pour it over the wound, and let's see how good it does. Let's see. A 4.
Okay. So it's an odd feeling, Finley, because this is poured on and it's got the consistency of like hot wax, kind of, as it's almost filling the wound. And you don't feel it. It's not like it's just suddenly better or anything. You feel it almost clogs just that top layer of the wound on both sides to keep you from bleeding anymore and to promote healing underneath it. It's almost like a scab in a way, a scab and a bandage at the same time, just pulling it over. It dries and it's caked on. You definitely feel a little bit better, even at that. You get to remove your wound.
Well, I've never seen anything like that before, so thank you. I feel somewhat better already.
Well, you're welcome. I'd love to tell you what's in it, but it's proprietary.
Right. Gotcha. Thank you anyways.
Listen, friend, I'm sorry to interrupt the thank yous, but I'm not sure if you're aware. Your friend on the other horse.
I am aware.
All right.
I would rather not talk about it right now, please.
Fair enough. It occurs to me that I don't know any of y'all's names.
All right. My name's Willie.
I'm Finley. It's a pleasure.
Pleased to meet you.
Jesse Rogers. Richards, yeah.
I'm Katrina, and this here is Maisie.
Alright. I'm Gideon. This little scrub.
Hello, everybody. I'm Archibald Flashheart Fenton West, but you can all call me Archie because it's a little less of a mouthful.
Right.
Archie, I saw you scribbling in that notebook. Are you a man of science as well?
Well, I wouldn't say particularly of science. More sort of investigative and sort of research kind of capacity for those overseas in the British Museum. I must say your ointment looks it's very fascinating. I would be very interested to find out what was in it if I could be so bold.
Well, like I said, that's proprietary, but I'm happy to use it to help you.
I don't know if that salve can help what's going on over here. It seems like every subsequent word as Katrina is speaking is like taking more and more out of her. She's like, Jesse, I might need you to take care of Maisie and me here, but what we were attacked by was something I hope none of y'all ever have the misfortune of encountering.
I tell Katrina that when she says the word, we'll do that.
Wait, Willie's perking up at that because it sounds familiar. Was it a monster?
Well, we weren't. It wasn't just one monster on the way here. We were following the tracks, hoping to head east towards St. Louis, and we were attacked by a bunch of zombies.
Zombies?
Yeah, Gabriel here is a wrangler. He sort of keeps them away from the big towns. Katrina and Maisie and the other people in our party were all affected, if you know what I mean.
It's contagious?
Not necessarily.
Were you bit?
Yeah.
Oh no. We had a similar encounter, but not with the zombie. I can't believe this is real, but it was a vampire.
Oh, I'm glad y'all made it out. Okay.
Well, one of us
Katrina's
got
like
bit.
Katrina's elbow is shaking from like the pressure. She's like trying to stay up. Like it's just spite at this point keeping her going.
I don't know you too well, and I'm not entirely sure of the depth of your predicament. But I know what I'd want right about now. So, ma'am, comes to it. I've done worse today.
I'm not going down before she goes down. Absolutely not.
Understood.
Well, we were on our way to see a doctor in St. Louis, coincidentally, who we were told could cure being bit by a vampire. Maybe they can do something for you too.
What kind of doctor were you gonna go see?
Well, out of game. I forget his name.
That's because it is so ridiculous. Well, the person that told you, they weren't quite sure if this was the name because it's so ridiculous. They said it was something like Dr. Fishbach or something like that.
We were told that a man called or something similar to Dr. Fishbach would be able to do something about it.
I hate to say, but usually they won't make it to St. Louis.
Oh, you mean the time? I'm rightly sorry.
All right, well, look, something bad is heading towards St. Louis right now on a train that's gonna go past this building. I don't know what it is, but it sounds bad.
Well, we came out part of this way on a train, but we got stopped. They weren't letting any trains through, and we ended up in a shootout, and they actually blew the train up. So I don't know if it's the same line.
Gabriel actually perks up at all of this, and he says, I don't know if we're talking about the same train, but I've seen a train every few days. There's no set schedule in there. They're leading some of these Walking Dead somewhere. I don't know what they're doing with them. My goal was, the whole reason I was out here, the whole reason I even found these folks, was I'm hoping to get on it the next time it comes through. It hasn't stopped, but I need to know where. A wrangler's job is to lead the infected away from populated areas. I don't want these trains leading them into a city.
Once you get on it, how are you planning to stop it?
I haven't gotten that far yet. I wasn't planning on really having company, so it seems like it's a bit bigger than I was originally thinking.
Well,
At my account, the next couple days should be here. It could be tomorrow, could be the next.
Well, Archibald and I nearly got bushwhacked by a group of fellas that were determined to be here for that train. They had a lot of dynamite.
the folks we met did too. But they were trying to keep us from coming, so I don't know if it was the same folk.
Well, they tried to keep us too. They just, let's say, failed.
Same here. We were planning to hurry on to St. Louis, but I think Jonah needs to rest for a while.
But the train hasn't come through here recently. None of y'all have seen it.
No.
Nope.
What do you think, Archie?
I think it would be prudent to find out what this train is. I mean, a lot of people seem to be very interested about it for various reasons. I understand blowing it up is kind of what you're saying, but we need to know what's on it before we act so rashly, maybe. So it would be quite good to see what's on this mystery train. I'd be very interested to see.
Now, here's the question. Y'all are making me believe that perhaps this train's gonna arrive with a lot of unpleasant company
think
Kind
that
of
sounds
wishing I
likely.
had that TNT now, to be honest.
Would there be any ingredients in this place that Willie could use to make some homemade explosives?
If you would like to search the place, I'll have you make a notice roll or thievery if you have that.
I have notice, I know. I don't think I have thievery. Okay. Eight.
Okay.
Oh wait, it exploded. Hold on. 8 plus 7. 15.
Okay. Looking around this room, it is probably uncharacteristically bare. If you had to make a guess, whatever happened to this man on the floor that's been dead for over a week, during that event, this place was cleaned out. You do, however, find there's one little dark corner of the room that most people have been avoiding just because not much light goes in there. It's like right outside of probably a little storage closet that is also empty. But in this corner you see ash, like there was a little fire. You see tiny little remains of paper. And there's one corner of a letter that appears to still be intact. It kind of grabs your attention. And picking it up, it is the last part of something. It seems to be finishing a word. The letters you get are ARDED, arded, whatever that word was. We're so close. Burn this after you read it. We can't afford to mess up now. And this letter is signed with a red lipstick print.
I will take it over. And I'm going to show it to Gideon because he seems to be kind of a leader. The leader.
Did you hear that, Gideon?
Did you hear that?
No, I'm sorry.
No worries. So Willie found a note and brings it over to you. It says, "We're so close. Burn this after you read it. We can't afford to mess up now." And it is signed with a red lipstick kiss. Willie brings it over and shows it to you.
Well, that's certainly an interesting way of signing a letter.
I'll say.
I'm not familiar with what this would mean, but
Seems like it can't be good, though.
Would I know?
Yeah, we'll read it out loud to everybody.
You show it to everyone?
Yeah. Kind of let them pass it around to anybody who wants to see it.
All right. Amber. You might know, but Maisie would definitely know.
Maisie would definitely know.
Maisie looks at it, and her face right now is just covered in sweat. And as she looks at it, she laughs, and then she pulls out the note given to them by the woman that was pretending to be Katrina Devine. And she just pushes the note away and leans her head back against the wall.
God bless you. You're...
She's like, I know, I'm amazing.
been a pleasure having you, but I think I know I promised you. And like her knees buckle, Katrina's knees buckle, and she's like, that's the real Katrina now. You hear? She's the real Katrina.
He looks over at you and she says, now stop being dramatic.
No, it's coming. It's coming. I got it. I can feel it. And like all color is like gone from my face. Just completely clammy. All of it gone.
She doesn't say anything to that. She just reaches over and grabs your hand.
Remember what I asked you. If there's anybody that I want to do it, it's you. Can you do it for me?
He nods confidently and then tries to lift her weapon almost in like a I got you, but she doesn't have the strength to lift her weapon.
Just hold on to that. Jesse, would you do me the honor?
You want to do it in here or outside?
Outside. I don't want to risk hurting any of our new friends.
Okay. So I take her and I put her arm over my shoulder.
Before you're able to pull her up, though, Maisie does just grab onto you with the tiniest amount of strength and just give you a hug.
You were always the best one of them, Maisie.
Oh, you don't have to lie.
I walk Katrina out. I'll set her a little bit a ways from the house or the station here. And I will gently tell her, thank you for getting me this far. I'll gently say a silent prayer from the Reverend's Bible. Tell her how much I appreciate her. And then fire my weapon. Slowly holster my weapon. And walk back into the railway station. I'm going to walk over to Gabriel and ask for the whiskey.
He pulls it up and holds it out to you, and as you grab onto it, he holds it with a stern hand, and he just looks you in the eyes. Is this what you want?
You're right, I don't. And I just go over and I sit on the floor with my back against the wall.
That was good of you. You're very brave.
It's not the first time I had to do that.
You bet too, kid.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I have a problem with my ear. I'm not bit. I was the only person who was unscathed.
Well, kudos to you for doing what needs to be done. Not an easy move.
Not at all.
And at this
She
point,
bit? Sorry.
yeah, at this point, Gabriel leans down and is kind of cleaning up Maisie as best as he can, and you hear him just quietly asking, like, where are we at right now? And she's like, I'm good. And he kind of grabs her face and says, where are we at right now? And you see just a tear kind of roll down Maisie's cheek, and she says, I don't feel it yet. And he just nods and stands back up. He turns to Willie now, and he says, what do you mean some doctor in St. Louis?
We were told that there was somebody there, potentially called Dr. Fishbach, that could cure somebody who'd been bit by a vampire and hadn't all the way turned.
See him thinking for a moment, and he looks to Jesse and he says, you know what I believe. You know I don't think cures like this exist, but I've been out here for a long time. If there's a chance, maybe it's him. But
I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry. Do y'all know someone who got bit too? Or one of you?
no, not by a vampire. It works the same. I mean, I think you get bit, you get scratched, you get infected, and then it takes you over, right?
That's what we've seen. Contamination seems to go more slowly if the bite is on an extremity. But yes, little by little they become changed until they can't control it anymore.
Where was your friend bit?
Are you looking at? Yeah, I was gonna say, are you
Maisie.
talking about
Maisie?
that
Yeah.
friend or Maisie? Okay, yeah, Maisie points down to her leg, which has already been bloodied and bandaged previously, and the bite seems to be underneath where that bandage was placed.
Should have cut off the leg.
I believe Maisie would say something like, with legs this good? No, I'm not cutting these legs off.
Don't make much difference with a hole in your head. I'd rather lose the leg.
So, I for one think it's worth a try. It's better than sitting here doing nothing.
Think your
Thunder.
best bet. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say the thunder is just rolling outside as the storm is like right on top of you.
Think your best bet would be to try and catch that train. Nothing's gonna get you into town faster.
We've also got a horse and a carriage.
In this
Anyone wanted
storm,
to come with us. Yeah, that's true. And Jonah needs a rest now, so we'd likely have to wait it out anyhow.
If it helps, I have 2 horses. They're very capable.
That's right.
We have
Listen.
horses of our own, right? Gabriel and I had a horse.
Nope, just Gabriel's horse is...
Oh, right. Okay.
Well,
Give her to me. I'll ride. Worst case, I don't make it. And then we're just right back to where I was already dying to be anyway.
Gideon
we
and
should-
Archie just roll a d6 for me.
Ooh,
Right?
4.
Do these explode? Because I rolled
Sure.
a 6.
Yeah.
Dang.
7.
Okay.
you're on fire.
I'm gonna have also Willie make a notice roll. Four. Okay. So, Gideon, you are kind of mulling over the crazy events of the past few days. And you know, there's that thought of that one letter that you found in one of the saddlebags. To your knowledge, this train is not meant to stop. Not even when it reaches St. Louis. Now, for those of you who have been to St. Louis, which I believe would be Gideon, Finley has probably been to St. Louis. And Jonah, but he's unconscious. There's no carrying on after St. Louis. It is a dead end. There are no tracks that lead any further. There are just warehouses full of ghost rock. Willie, as you're kind of looking over, you're just looking around at everyone through the blood and the dirt and the mud, you're slowly coming to realize that Gideon is dressed a hell of a lot like those railers.
The ones that we fought.
This just slowly sinks in. Finley, you are holding this letter in your hands.
Does it look exactly like the other one?
It does.
Right. I am just gonna kind of inch my way back into a corner and sit there with it and not really do much of anything except numbly stare at it.
Okay. Sound of the rain slamming into the tin roof.
I'm gonna go over back to Jonah and
Okay.
sit next to him.
I'm not much built for all this waiting. The way I see it, we got a time limit here. I'm willing to ride, but you gotta leave her to me. And if things go bad on my way there, I will handle her appropriately. But I will try.
Can I ask you Can I ask you what your story is? Where did you come from?
I've been all over the place. Bounty hunter. Been a little strapped for work lately. Took a job with some of these railmen. Then they tried to shoot me, and Archie and another friend. So, did what I needed to do. Now I'm here.
Why did they turn against you?
They had some sort of task designated to them to wait for this train with a cart full of TNT. Apparently, we're told not to allow for any witnesses. I took offense to gunning down innocents in cold blood.
Do you know who tasked them?
I do, but Alex does not remember his name. and I do not have my notebook. I do not know where it is.
Do you say the name?
Yeah.
It's the Chamberlain Rail Line, the Empire Rail Line by Josh Chamberlain.
Is that the same folks that we ran into? What do we know when I know that?
I don't think you knew what rail line they were from, but I would say Willie's smart enough, seeing
to figure out.
Yeah, seeing this, the same attire, that you would assume it would be the same rail line. So,
Well, I'm one of those folks they were trying to kill. So I'm grateful that you didn't join in.
Yeah, well. A lot of things, but never been one for cold-blooded murder. Gotta at least put up a fight.
Well, I think we could all ride. Why do you think you need to go by yourself?
Frankly, because I'm faster. Secondly, because I think someone needs to be here to stop this train. And I mean stop it.
Gabriel speaks up at this point and he says, I think it's smartest for her, and he points down to Maisie, to not move her. She's not going to be able to handle this ride, especially moving that quick. If someone can get the doctor and bring him here. Now my other concern, and he points back, he points at you, Gideon, and he's like, you're saying all these railers have dynamite, and that they're following this train with why would they do that?
Rob it or create a big explosion? I'm not sure. They're saying this train's gonna run straight through St. Louis. I don't know, maybe they wanted to stop it, maybe they wanted to pack it full of some boom. I don't know.
To hit St. Louis? Because if that's the case...
Possibly.
If that's the case, heading there to get this doctor... That really puts you on a time limit.
Well, I mean, time's just ticking away as we speak here.
The thunder rolls again outside, and...
As I said, I prefer to do.
Well, I'm a little confused because when they stopped us, it did seem like, or at least they said, if we turned around and went home, they wouldn't hurt us. I don't know if that was a lie or not.
Well...
But they said that we can't go to St. Louis because something bad was there. I don't know if that was true or not.
Maybe they were cleaning up a mess that they made?
Could be.
Maybe this is all some sort of fucked up mistake. But I think that train needs to stop. I got a bad feeling about it. And I'd rather not see another young woman take a bullet in the brain today.
At this point,
Jesse, she's
Maisie
your
says,
friend.
I second that.
Well, that brings up a good point. Perhaps we should ask her what she wants to do.
At this point, she looks pretty tired too. Like her eyes are kind of forcing themselves closed, and she just looks at Gideon and she just motions. She's like, "Come here."
All right.
You head over, kind of crouch down, and she's looking at you, and she's kind of squinting. She's like, both of you look, if you want to ride in this, and she points out to the storm that's flashing outside, and she says, "I'm not gonna stop you, because I would prefer to live. So it's not really my choice."
Well, that sounds like an endorsement on behalf of the bitten. Anyone opposed?
I mean, Gideon, I don't want you to go. I think over the last couple of days, I could consider you a friend, and you've saved my life numerous times, but I in no ways would stop a man doing what he felt was right.
Archie, I'll be honest with you, buddy. At first, I thought you were a bit of a bumbling idiot.
Well, you wouldn't be the first to think that.
But I've seen you kill multiple men.
Well,
on behalf of a fella that you didn't really know. I think this group might need someone like you.
It's very kind of you to say.
I'd also like to catch up to my friend. See if maybe he made it before we... See if he made it at all, to be honest. I'm being a little selfish here. I'd like to make sure that someone that I've had a good turn with is alright. I will be back one way or another. I might be riding back awful fucking hard, but I will be back. But I just saw a young woman get put down like a dog with rabies, and I'd rather not see that happen again today. I don't know why that hit me the way it did, but it did. If there is a doctor in St. Louis, I will get him, and he will be brought back here as fast as I'm able to ride.
There's something I should tell you, too. The reason that we were going to St. Louis was to save our friend Luther, who got bit. He knew we weren't going to make it if we all stayed together, so he rode off by himself. Now, that was yesterday. I don't know how far he is, but he'll be getting there ahead of you, and there's a chance that he could turn before he finds the doctor.
Could you tell me what you expect? Who am I looking for?
I'll describe him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give him a good description.
Rich clothes, but a little bit dirty. Just a very rich cowboy singer type.
He's a real nice fella. If he didn't turn and he did find the doctor, it might be another person you can look for that could help you point you in the right way.
All right.
But I understand if you encounter him and he did turn, I know you got to do what you got to do.
I will do what needs to be done regardless, but a friendly face would be appreciated. I do have one odd request. I lost my hat about 3 dynamite explosions ago. If someone would please, I have a suspicion I'm gonna want a hat.
Archie will look at the guy who was originally dead in the thing. Does he have a hat?
It does.
Fair enough.
I don't think anybody needs this one.
It's far from the stinkiest thing on my person at the moment.
Do you need somebody to go with you? Because, I can help if you would like help.
Can you ride like that?
I can try. I feel a little bit better as the time goes on, so.
If you slow me down, I'm just gonna keep going.
Fair enough.
All right. Gideon's gonna take the dead man's hat, which seems to be a theme these last 3 days, taking things from dead men.
It does, yes.
Put it on, help the young woman up from the floor, and start to saddle up a horse.
Okay, so how, oh wait, are you taking Maisie, or are you just...
Oh, that's
I
right,
think we're
that's right, I'm going.
Right.
I got confused.
No.
Gideon's not very
I was
smart.
like, wait a minute, what's the plan?
Listen, I've got gumption, but no brains, so... Yeah, so
Like, we're just throwing Maisie over the horse and let's go.
No, wait,
saddle
Gideon,
up.
wait.
Wait, Gideon, that was not the plan. All right, so...
Before we go, I would like to step over to Maisie, actually, and I would like to crouch down.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold the letter up with the lipstick stain. I'm going to look at her. I'm going to go, how do you know what this is?
She squints at it for a moment and she says, well, the woman of my dreams came and saved us from the horseshoe killer.
Will you... Okay. And that's all you're going to give me?
She looks like she's trying to put her thoughts into sentences that other people can understand. Like, she's sitting there, she's definitely losing consciousness, and she says, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that she owns some rail line.
Do you know, is she still where you saw her, or did she go somewhere else?
Oh no, we saw her at this terrible town, and she saved us and she left. She told us to and then she just kind of laughed, and you see her like chuckling almost silently, leaning her head back against the wall. She told us to go to fucking St. Louis.
I'm just gonna get up and I will go follow Gideon out. And I will tuck that note into my pocket where the letter is. I would like to bury Paul.
Okay. It is still storming outside.
Alright, I will just take him off. I will try to not look at him.
Okay.
And I will just take him off and I will set him sort of like sitting up in the stable. And I will just kind of like press my forehead up against whatever side isn't awfully mangled. And I will just tell him that I'm sorry again. And then I will get up on Adam. Gideon can have the other horse. Adam's mine. No.
fair enough.
Right, as you are mounting up on your horses, getting ready to head out, you hear a terrible sound. It is like some sort of animal or creature, and for a moment you're afraid. You both turn, you pull your guns, and you see limping towards you. You see Old Boy. Sliced up and limping, drenched from the storm, just limping in. You see a big, basically like war horse. Gashes everywhere, chunks of skin kind of just slashed open, but Old Boy is limping towards the stables here.
I would like to get off of Adam really quickly, and I will run up to Old Boy, and I will try and guide him best I can into the stables.
Okay. He looks terrified, and his eyes are big and bulging. But as you come over, it's this familiarity, and you just start leading this beat up horse to the stables.
Okay. Is there anything on him that
Well, let's see here. When you all left, you had everything loaded up. Old boy has two satchels. One of them is full of sugar cubes and nothing else. They are all like melting together from the little bit of rainwater that has seeped into the satchel. And then in the other one, you see it's just like 5 cans of Paul's chewing tobacco stashed in here.
I will.
And you see the only useful thing, 1 roll of bandages.
Oh, great. Cool.
Yeah.
I will take the bandages. I will take
Okay.
a handful of sugar cubes, and I will take one of the things of Paul's chewing tobacco, actually.
All right, loading up your pockets.
Yep.
Archie, I will be back, my friend.
I will be waiting for you.
Be safe.
And you. And,
I'll give him go to give him a handshake, and I'll give that little bastard a hug.
Archie's a bit sort of like, oh, okay. Oh.
I'm sorry about the blood. I didn't really think that one through.
Oh, no, don't worry. Yes, I'm not exactly as pristine as I perhaps should be.
It's not mine. I don't know if that helps or makes it worse.
Neither is... Although, actually, I think I have got a wound. But, no.
Be well, my friend.
Yes, and you. Hopefully we will see each other in fairer weather.
Indeed. That's all I needed.
I haven't known y'all for very long, but I just wish you all the best of luck, and I hope we see each other again in better circumstances.
Jesse
Sorry,
wants to pull Gideon aside for a second. And I asked Gideon, I too was on my way to St. Louis to search for someone. I think we have a common person in mind. I'm on my way to bring in Jesse Chamberlain.
You are Jesse. You mean Josh.
Oh, Josh Chamberlain. I'm sorry, Josh Chamberlain. So, if you know of his whereabouts in St. Louis when you get back, will you give me that info?
Yeah. Yeah, if I run into any information about a Josh Chamberlain, I will bring that back to you.
I mean, it'd be better if you bring him back to me, but
I can do that too. I'm quite good at that part. Does he need to be alive?
preferably. But
All right.
I
It's an
just
important distinction.
yeah.
I will do my best.
Thank you.
Archie will ask Finley. Sorry, Archibald Flashheart, Fenton West. What would you like us to do with your friend that you left in the barn? Do you want us to?
If you get the chance to bury him, I would appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
But if you don't, I suppose burning his body will do. I just would rather I just would rather his body not be just left to the natural
of
world.
course.
So
How about if I mark the grave somewhat, and then next time I see you, I can tell you where it is if you want to go and pay some respects or something.
I would really appreciate that, actually, Archie.
That's no problem. That's no
Thank
problem. Consider it done.
Let's ride. Got a long way to
Go.
go.
Right.
And
Be safe.
with that, you hear the horse hooves heavy, only for a moment, as the thunder then just booms overhead again as Gideon and Finley haul ass towards St. Louis. The 3 of you now sit with a sleeping Jonah and an unconscious Maisie. What would you like to do?
Is there some sort of fireplace or source of warmth in this building, or is it?
There's a small, like, cooking stove.
Hmm.
That'd probably be the best bet.
Um, Archie will probably sort of go and start poking around. He's not really too sure about what he's supposed to be doing, but he sort of roughly knows what he's supposed to be doing, how to start firing and things, and we'll try and sort of stoke it if it's already going, just to make the room a little bit more friendly, perhaps.
Willie's been sharpening these stakes in her downtime, so she's gonna keep doing that with some of the wood that she had from the cart.
Jesse sort of looks at that and says, "Do you think you're going to need to use them soon?"
Well, most likely. We already killed 2 vampires back in Little Rock, and I mean now we're adding zombies to the mix. I don't really know if there's a special way to kill them, but I want to be prepared because my whatever I threw at that vampire didn't work, so I need to be ready.
Sorry to interrupt. You say vampires. What identified them as being vampires to you?
Well, it first started. We said there was a woman that got bit. Well, I'll back up. There was a man dead and several others dead in my town, and I was helping to investigate the body when we saw one. I mean, it was a huge creature with razor sharp teeth, and everyone he killed had 2 puncture wounds. And we saw one woman who got bit actually slowly turn into one.
That was your first take.
I don't know. My first take was actually in a dead body.
Oh.
I thought that he might be a danger, so I went ahead and stuck him when he was already down, and he kind of did like, so I think it worked. But then there was a woman my other associates helped kill.
How about, and I look towards Jonah. Yeah.
He didn't get bit, at least not, and his wounds, he doesn't look like that either, does he? He just looks tired.
Yeah, no, his wounds don't even look like that's what's doing this to him. Yeah, he's just tired.
He's just tired, okay.
He didn't get bit. He's just exhausted because we rode hard to get here, and we were interrupted by whatever demon was hunting him down. So he's got it knocked out of him.
Gotcha.
But I don't know about this. I'm worried about what Gideon was saying about that train.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to come through, and if it does, I don't know how we're supposed to stop it.
No. The thing that worries me is that those people that we encountered when I first met Gideon were, I believe, hired to stop the train, to blow it up, all the tracks, I assume. So that can either go one of 2 ways. It's either to stop the train from doing something worse, or to stop the train to make something happen. If you get my meaning.
One note to that, I don't entirely know if Gideon shared the letter with you. Not. Did he share the letter with you? Well, the letter wasn't talking about stopping the train. The letter was talking about following the train.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I did tell him the story about how ours was stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
The letter was it was something like waiting here. I was talking about a railroad station, waiting for the train to pass, and then following it.
And Gabriel had said that he thinks the train is like calling the zombies because the increase of activity was happening.
Yeah, he had talked about how it would just be like blasting the horn as it was going by to try and lure infected out. And it was going fairly slow as well so that they could keep up. That's why he's here.
Well, I certainly don't want to encounter any of these zombies if I don't have to.
No. The easiest way to take care of him is a bullet, of course. But you don't want to have to do it. Do we... you said that the storm has sort of passed at this point?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
It's rolling by, but it's still pretty stormy outside. It's just not right on top of you anymore.
Well, we can't go anywhere in this rain. Are y'all planning to go to St. Louis, or are we just you're gonna wait here until Gideon comes back with the doctor?
Well, if Gideon can come back with a doctor, I think Maisie, if that's what he was wanting to do and Maisie wants to stay here for a doctor, I guess we would just wait here for them. How far off is St. Louis from the map? Is it
You're looking at probably on horseback. Maybe like an hour to 2 hours tops.
okay?
In
okay.
good weather. So you're not sure how long it'll take in the storm.
Okay.
But a couple of hours on a good day, horseback.
So
Night
in theory,
has...
they could be.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say. So in theory, they could be back within 12 hours ish. Sort of a few hours there, a few hours doing something, a few hours back potentially.
Well, if my friend doesn't find the doctor, and if Gideon doesn't run into him, then Jonah and I will have to go to St. Louis. But I'd be willing to wait.
We were
can
heading
certainly
out.
Use the rest.
We were heading that way anyway. But if Maisie isn't looking good, I'd rather her be comfortable and have to do what I have to do and let her
We need to keep watch on her then too. Is Maisie like awake and alert with like talking to us too?
No, she is unconscious now.
Okay.
She's just her head is leaning up against the wall and she's just sleeping.
It seemed like Katrina had a real strong sense of when it was taking over her, and my instinct says that Maisie would do the same.
I didn't know Maisie or Katrina very much. I knew Katrina more than I knew Maisie and her girls. They seemed pretty forthright. So I would expect that she would say when as well. But they're tough ladies. All of those ladies really fought to hold on as much as they could.
Well, she seems like she's doing all right still, so hopefully she'll make it. But I think we should still have, maybe some. Is it night or is it daytime?
Night is falling. Yeah, it was evening as the storm was rolling in, so got dark real quick, but it is nighttime now. Yeah.
I think we should try to get some rest, but I think somebody should stay guard.
Indeed.
We could take it in turns.
I'm not hurt at all, so I could definitely take the first round and just keep a watch on everybody. Let everybody who's been travel weary or injured get the rest first.
All right. Does anyone currently have a wound? All right, you can go ahead and make a healing roll if you'd like.
Ooh. What kind of roll is that?
If you don't have the healing skill, it'll just be a d4 -2 with your wild die.
Okay. That's 3. Because the highest. Oh no! Sorry, I've got a 4 on my d4, so it's exploded. Sorry, I missed that. Oh, so that's 5. Oh, it's still 3.
Okay. That was all right. All right, so you are laying down to get some rest. Jesse is taking this first little watch. Jonah is having one of those dreams where he's fully aware that it's a dream, but he just can't wake up. And his mind just makes him watch as the dream continues. Jonah is running, just out of breath, muscles straining and sore, and he just can't move fast enough. He sees Luther tied to the railroad tracks. The train is coming, and he has to get to him. He just has to be fast enough, but the harder he runs, the further away Luther seems to be. He hears himself shout out for him, "Luther, hold on, I'm coming." The train is faster, and the light blinds him as it approaches with an angry speed. The whistle's deep and evil, and he hears himself scream out loud as Luther is just stolen from view. His stomach drops, and his heart stops, and as he's standing there on the tracks, he realizes now the train is coming for him. Willie, as you're settling down, you notice Jonah kind of thrashing around a little bit, and you just hear him quiet but calling for Luther as he's just thrashing around, sweat on his forehead.
I kind of just put my hand on him, and I just like not trying to wake him up, but just kind of like soothing kind of pat and just say, "Luther's gonna be all right. We're gonna save him. You rest now."
And he calms down and seems to fall back. You lay down, you get some rest as well. Jesse, make a notice roll for me.
Ten.
Okay. So as you are sitting in here, the storm is gradually starting to pass. It's now just a heavy rain outside. The lightning flashes seem to be a little more distant now. And as you're sitting there for a little while, everyone asleep, you're just kind of glancing around this little station, and your eyes fall again on the lever that has been tampered with. And you kind of just go over to it. You're looking at it, and from what you can see on everything, not necessarily like instructions or anything like that, but the things on basically the dash where these controls are, you see the tracks are currently just straight shot to St. Louis, and this lever has just been bent and broken so that it can't be changed. And as you're kind of examining that, you see the remains of like some sort of small folded up piece of paper. Looks like it fell underneath the desk and probably didn't get burned with the others.
I'm going to pick that up and unfold it.
Yeah, you lean down, grab the paper, unfold it, and you see the majority of it has been just scribbled on, like trying to scribble out the words so that nobody else can read it. You look over at one of the lanterns and just kind of turn it on a little bit, holding it up to the light to see if you can make out any of the words. Certain places, no, it's just the ink is just too much. You can't make out anything that it would have said, but you do see up towards the top. It says, "Steer clear. The train to St. Louis comes on the 13th day." Which you would know is tomorrow.
Okay.
Looking through the rest of it, you see one part that says, "Don't follow too close." And then some more is just scribbled out too much, you can't make it out. And then you see make a smarts roll for me.
Oh, I'm good at smarts. Not that good. 3.
Okay. So the only other thing you can make out is detonate on impact.
Okay. I fold that back up and I put it in my pocket.
Okay. After a few more hours, the storm has passed and now it's just kind of sprinkling outside. It is the middle of the night now. You see just these like electric green flashes in the distance, just of the Weird West. Just regular nighttime happenings, just green lightning that almost seems to just come from the ground up. How long do you let them sleep for?
I would say that I let them sleep a good probably 6 hours before I rouse them so that I can get some rest.
Sure. You wake them both up?
No, I think we'll go in shifts,
Okay.
hopefully. So I guess I would start with Archibald and then ask him to take the next 6 hours and then see what happens from there.
Okay.
Was your shift okay? Was it? Nothing untoward.
Yeah, but I did find something. I'll probably talk to you guys about it in the morning.
Problem? Okay.
Right. And if Archie takes another, not even a full 6 hours necessarily, the sun will rise on your shift early in the morning. It smells like rain just from the entire evening. As the sun rises, I would say you all wake up in whatever order you wish.
Yeah, I think Archie would have let Willie
Thanks for
sleep.
letting
I
me
think.
sleep,
Yeah,
y'all.
I think he would have let you sleep.
I want to see if Jonah is all right if he's woken up after being asleep for this long.
He does look a lot better. He is awake and he's kind of scooted back against the wall. And you see him, like, he sees you here, so he knows, like, we're supposed to be here, but he has no idea what has gone on, so he's just kind of awkwardly leaning back against the wall and just shuffling through his cards.
Have I got a story to tell you? This plot just got a lot thicker, and I give him a full rundown of everything that happened the previous day.
What are Jesse and Archie doing?
Archie would see if is there any kind of something to make a drink with, either sort of some old coffee or his own little store of tea that he had in his saddlebag or something just to make everybody a drink for the morning or whatever. Because I'm assuming there's probably not going to be any food.
I'm gonna have you make a notice roll for me real quick.
Oh, okay. What is that? That is one of those. Oh, 5.
Okay. So you actually head out to the horses to start searching through these saddlebags. You're like, I know you don't remember which horse you came in on. Like,
no, I have no idea.
No, so you just kind of start searching some of the saddlebags. Searching one of them, you actually find you find 2 different bags. One looks like it has tobacco in it. The other one looks like it has coffee grounds. And then you also find a really thick piece of paper, like you know paper. This is the good stuff. Like this is some
heavy
sturdy.
weight.
Yeah, this is good paper. And it's just folded in half, almost like a small invitation of some sort. Folded in half, you open it, and it says, Chamberlain is supposed to be in St. Louis. That's when it'll happen. Just remember not to follow too close. And as you're looking at this, you're kind of looking, this looks like it was probably one of the horses that you two rode up on. You're not sure if this is the one you hopped on or the one Gideon hopped on, but this was definitely one of the Railers' horses. And it says Chamberlain will be in St. Louis, and it says a date, but it's the 13th. It's tomorrow. It's today, technically.
Oh. I'm guessing that name does not ring a bell with me at all. It's not going to be in my field of...
I mean, you heard it mentioned briefly when everybody was gathered last night, but a lot was happening last night, so...
Yeah, I think he'll pop it in his jacket pocket.
Okay.
And he'll have a look around in the stables for some sort of shovel. Is there a shovel or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he'll come back in and say, oh yes. And he'll sort of start brewing up some coffee. Sort of set it going. I mean, he's not familiar with coffee that familiar, so he's trying to do something with it.
Jesse can take over and make some cowboy coffee.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Jonah's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Archie was doing it all wrong. It was all it was a complete mess. And then he'll go, I'm just going to, while the weather's reasonably clement, I'm just going to bury our friend.
Well, before you do that, while I was on watch last night, I was poking around here, and specifically the mechanism here that switches the tracks and such, and I found this note, and I unfold it and I show it to them. In the lantern light, I saw that most of them were crossed off, but from what I can see here is that the train comes today.
Oh. Well, incidentally, while I was out in the stables, sort of finding some resources, and he pulls out his bit of note, I came across this, and he puts it next to your piece of paper. Yes, it appears that a chamberlain will be in St. Louis, today.
Chamberlain.
Does the name ring a bell with anyone?
Oh, it certainly does. The man I'm supposed to bring in is named Josh Chamberlain.
Oh, yes, I do recall somebody saying it, but...
Yeah,
there you go.
It's a little bit harder to bring him in because he is the owner of that Empire Rare line.
Oh, I see.
What did he do?
A whole bunch of stuff. I mean, when I first met him, he was in our town claiming to be somebody else. But the mayor of our town told me to bring him in.
I wonder why he would be on that train. But at least we know that it's coming today.
Well, a little bit lower down on my note, I point to it and it says that it's supposed to detonate on impact.
Impact with St. Louis?
Sounds like it.
Holy cow. Maybe that's why Gideon was saying we needed to stop it. Probably means it's loaded up with explosives. But what about the whole... Oh wait, I don't know about the following thing, right? I don't think so.
That's on my list. I would have told you that it says don't follow too close.
Oh, on your note. Okay. The following part. Why would they want people to follow it? I guess not too close so they don't get affected by the explosion.
Yeah, Archie, I believe on Gideon's note, at the bottom of it, it said follow, but don't follow too close or something like that. And then it said clean up the rest.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yes, I was quite perplexed as to what that might mean. Clean up the rest.
I'm thinking it means kill.
Well,
yes.
In our circumstances, the train's calling the zombies. We knew that Josh or the Empire is trying to build their rail line through this rail. They don't own this part just yet.
Oh.
So if they're trying to clean up the zombie, they're calling them, and then they're gonna take care of them all, I guess.
Why blow up St. Louis?
Maybe it's not supposed to get to St. Louis. Maybe it's supposed to round up as many as it can and then take care of the rest at the behind.
Well, I'm not opposed to zombie killing.
No.
I'm just worried about the collateral damage there.
Me too. They clearly don't mind killing people in order to accomplish this task.
I assume the train will be driven by some fellows. I mean, surely they wouldn't just set a train off and off it goes unmanned. That seems rather.
That's a good point.
Haphazard.
Yeah, but our fellow here could have switched it away from St. Louis.
That's true. Is there any way to tell from looking at the lever where it's headed?
Yeah, it's headed straight for St. Louis.
And the lever is stuck, right? Or it's broken?
It looks like somebody took something to it. It's like bent and then smashed down to where it can't be unbent or moved one way or the other. It looks like some heat was placed to it too, almost like to weld it.
All right.
Is there some way of doing it manually, maybe, at the actual track? Or I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with railroad. Does anybody know?
I'm not either, but that's a good idea. We could try. Although I'm not super keen to be outside seen when it goes by either.
Yeah. Question.
But where does if we divert it, where do it go then?
That's what I was about to say. Is that railroad map on the thing?
It is, yes. Diverting this train, it will head to a town either direction. Nothing as big as St. Louis, but it will head to a populated area either direction that it is.
All right.
Based.
Your note said that Chamberlain's supposed to be in St. Louis,
Yes, that's what it says, yes.
and this train is supposed to detonate on impact. It's almost like somebody else doesn't want Josh Chamberlain to be around either.
It does seem to be pointing in that direction, doesn't it?
If I look at my note and his note, are the handwriting similar or?
They are not.
Okay, different handwritings. Okay.
It's not like, one person giving all of these orders. It seems to be multiple. But it's definitely not the same handwriting as the note you found with the lipstick kiss.
Okay.
So the 3 different hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this point, I want to ask Jonah what does he want to stick around and wait for this train with these people, or does he want to keep going to St. Louis?
With all of the information Jonah has been given, I'm going to say he is probably more concerned about the fact that Luther is probably in St. Louis. I'm going to say Jonah will be more concerned about trying to find a way for this train to not reach St. Louis.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Luther's there, along with a lot of other innocent people.
Yeah, Gabriel will say we just sent 2 people to St. Louis.
Right. And if there's anything we can do to stop it, I think we should.
Well, I like Archie's idea of a manual switch. I don't know if there is one out there, but I would guess that we would have to go and find it. And it would have to be just past here, probably, or...
Make a common knowledge roll.
Do you think that if they got diverted and didn't know, would they still blow it up? Is that going to be set in motion? That's my question too. I don't want to do them another place, but maybe they wouldn't blow it up if it didn't get to the correct place.
I'm just wondering whether the explode on impact means that it's just going to explode if it hits something.
That we don't know. Like
If
I
it's-
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
If it
I'm
has been
just
ordered to
theorizing.
hit something specific.
right.
Mm.
And if the railway is a dead end in St. Louis, I mean, it's going to hit something.
You said you were coming and you passed some rail guys trying to do something to the railway?
They blocked it. So they stopped the train and they told us to go back. And we said no because we needed to get to St. Louis pretty desperately. And at that point, they, attacked us. But it seemed like they were giving us a chance to leave. I think they just, I don't know why. Maybe they wanted to keep people out. Maybe they wanted to limit the casualties. It's possible. By keeping people out of St. Louis because they knew they were about to blow it up. But they also weren't willing to let anybody ruin the plan. So they were going to kill us for trying to keep going.
It seems very odd behavior, doesn't it? Tell somebody to not go somewhere that's dangerous, but then try and kill them.
Right. Their mission must be critical.
But saying that, when I first came across Gideon's path, his colleagues said that there weren't to be any witnesses. So I'm wondering that just for the fact that you and I witnessed the wrong people, we were supposedly deemed to be snuffed out. But
Perhaps they would have blown up our train anyway.
On the control board where the switches are there any names of places there besides St. Louis?
No names. The only names you would see like on the map, probably.
Okay.
As for your common knowledge roll earlier, you have no idea if there would be a manual way to switch these tracks, but you're welcome to kind of walk up and down them a little bit if you want to try to find one.
It's worth a try.
Yeah. I don't know if I should go like left or right is what I'm thinking now. I think if the switch was here, I'd probably have to go a little bit right to see if it's changed up that way.
It would have to. I mean, the tracks would also have to diverge, so we'd have to find that spot.
would it be helpful if I went the other way, just to save time?
You know, with the past couple days I've had, I think sticking together in most cases is going to be, I mean, we only have to wait a couple more hours for Gideon and them to get back, I would guess. But
and I don't imagine any one of us could move it alone.
That's probably correct.
Okay, so Gabriel says he'll watch Maisie, and the three of you head towards St. Louis, the track towards St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Closer towards St.
All right, all of you make a notice roll.
Nine.
4.
15.
Okay. Well, they're all successes, but I'm gonna say, Jesse, you are looking more out on the horizon than you are anywhere nearby. And you walk and you see a straight shot of tracks that just lead forward.
Guys, there's no switch this way.
All right. The other thing is we could try to block it somehow? Is there anything we could put on the tracks? We could look around for something metal, something big, anything. And then there's also the option of shooting at it, trying to detonate any devices that are already there.
But this is a train that's not meant to stop, so we would have to jump on the train in order to detonate, right? Or shoot it as we...
Well, it's going to be moving pretty slow.
Yeah.
We can fire at it if we could see. I mean, probably if it's designed to detonate on impact, if we caused an impact, it would detonate here.
What do we have at the railway station right now? We have... that would cause an impact, or that we could put on the tracks.
Yeah, I think we should look around.
There was the wagon that you came on.
That's true. I was thinking about that. I'd hate to lose it, but you got to do what you got to do. We could try the wagon. We could try... Oh man, if I just had some ingredients to make some nitroglycerin, we could load that sucker up and blow up the train.
What kind of ingredients would you require?
Well, I'd need glycerin, nitric acid, and sulfuric acid.
I mean, I've got a bar of soap.
That would work. It's the acids, and then
yes,
it's a process. You need to heat it.
Are you
Justin,
talking as you're walking back?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. We only have that wagon, and I think we'd have to drive it a certain amount of time before we have it cross the tracks, but
We've got... How many horses have we got? Do we have 3 horses? All right. So we don't technically need the cart, but it would help to have it. But if that's the only thing we've got to block it, I think we might want to use it. We could look around.
and there's no boulders or anything like that we can move over the tracks or anything like that. It's just a straight shot on the plains.
Yeah, it's pretty much a straight shot. There's like rockier hillsides a ways away, but you could try. You're not sure how long it would take you to haul back some of it.
If it's moving slow, we could also probably be able to shoot at it with decent accuracy.
I wonder if we could hop on and commandeer it and stop it.
That's an option too.
Yes.
We just have to be real careful not to blow it up by accident with
True.
us in it.
True.
I'm nervous I'm a little train shy. After my last experience, I narrowly escaped being blown up myself.
I can understand that.
I mean, but if we could stop it, then we could at least be able to investigate it further and see what actually is on this train and
That's true.
gather some clues, evidence.
I think that sounds like our best bet right now to slow it
All
down.
right.
All right, so you get back to the little railroad station. You see Gabriel just sitting outside the doors are just open to get some fresh air in there. The body kind of
Is
stunk up the
decomposing.
place. Yeah. And he just kind of waves as you're coming back up. Did you find anything?
No switch. No switch, Gabriel. How's Maisie?
She's doing okay. Still sleeping, but she seems okay.
Latest idea is to try and... Latest crazy idea is to try and jump on this train and stop it from reaching St. Louis.
That means we're going to have to make sure that whoever is driving does not see us.
Assuming there is a driver.
Right.
Right.
Are we talking riding up like around the back of the train, hopping on and hopping our way up to get to the driver?
Probably. I mean,
Sounds like
I
it.
would think we need to hop on. If this is your plan, Jesse.
I think so. I think that's exactly what I'm thinking, Gabe.
Sounds crazy. I'm in.
All right.
I will say I'm not too steady on a horse.
You steady with machinery?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he kind of just notes, the dust, the powder under your fingernails. And you know how to drive a train?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I learned right quick before my last one blew up.
Well, maybe we focus on...
But I think I figured it out.
Maybe we focus on getting you into that position.
All right.
Because any one of us could get up there. I wouldn't know what to do with the train.
I think I can figure it out.
All right. So this is your game marshal asking, what is the plan? The set in stone plan. What are we doing?
I think we should all be ready. If you think we should ride up on horses, then we should be ready, but we should be hidden when it goes by, when it starts to go by. And then we should ride up on it. We've got to look for an opening, a good place to grab on. And try to ride up.
Yeah, I think we should be either just before or just past the crossroads here. And hidden. I'd like to be hidden off of both sides, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I've got pretty good riding.
We just need a signal.
Yeah.
Do we need distractions?
We would.
That's a good idea.
Depending if the zombies are following it, we need distractions to get them away from us so that we can get on the train safely.
Right.
Well, if it's zombies you're worried about, I can handle that part.
So that takes the zombies away from the equation. That's good. And then we'll
I might need to ride with you.
Okay.
I don't really trust my ability to be able to get a horse to ride up to the train.
Yeah, I'm good with riding, so I can definitely ride you up to the train and try to get you on as quick as possible and then jump over.
All right, sounds good.
Jonah, who I have forgotten about, Jonah will he will offer to ride far enough away to where he could draw the driver's attention to help you two come up on the other side. He says he's not too great with a horse and he really actually hates them and they're definitely demons, but he will he will do this because he's got to keep that train from getting to St. Louis.
Good man, Jonah. All right.
That's the plan. I like it.
What's Archie's rule?
Would you like me to access the rear of the train? Maybe sort of to I believe at home back in Britain they have like brake cars on the back of trains that sort of helps slow them down. So maybe there's
That's a good
American
idea.
question.
Good idea.
He could head for the back. Willie will head for the front. We have Gideon as a zombie distraction, and we have Jonah as a driver distraction.
If it all goes as planned, sounds like it could work.
All right.
Do we want some sort of a go word? Somebody to be kind of peeking out to signal everybody else to go? Although I guess maybe if Jonah's going to ride out first.
You not fire into the air or something just to with that for added.
Except we don't
distractioning.
want to distract him again. Oh, he could. Yeah.
Jonah's like, I could just yell, "Hiya!"
All right.
He's just like grimacing at the thought of having to get on a horse.
You can do it, Jonah. I believe in you. All right. Well, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
I think this is as good as it's going to get. So
It's crazy, but it just might work.
So you take a few minutes to saddle up the horses, make sure they're ready and good to go. You've picked out what horses you're using. You also see a very large workhorse of some sort that has been brought in covered in wounds and tired. Old too. Like you can tell this is an old horse. And as you're getting ready, it just looks up at you and then just looks back down, and it's just, it's exhausted, and it was previously drenched in the rain of the storm, but it just kind of makes little noises at you as you're in. You saddle up the horses, and
before we go, I'm going to pat that one on the thing. So you've done good. You're here. You just hang out here.
You made it, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Gabriel will have he will have made sure that Jesse at least sees this happening. He's not doing this out of like ill intent, but he ties Maisie's wrist to the leg of the large desk area in here. Just so if something does happen, she's not wandering around.
That's good.
So he will tie her to that, kind of say a little prayer for her as he's standing back up. And you're getting the horses ready. I would assume best bet is probably like hiding in the stables, ready to go. Jonah will be kind of right outside the stables, sitting like stiff-backed on the horse, legs kind of clenched around, just kind of petting it like, it's okay, we're gonna get through this together, just don't fuck me off. And he's just sitting there. You just hear him like muttering things to the horse, and then you feel the vibrations. You hear the train. is coming.
It's go time.
I'm up in the saddle and I pull Willie up behind.
The train is coming fast. With a speed you've never seen in a train before.
Oh no.
Okay.
Jonah's eyes go wide and he says, and he looks to all of you and he says, "Is this still the plan?"
I would
don't
say,
know.
I say it's a plan now, and we
he
have
says,
to go faster.
"Hiya!" and just slams into the, slaps the horse. The horse takes off running. As the train is coming at such a speed, the horse is running. The train starts just blasting by.